What's up, guys? We are here back at the Star, joined by the one and only Garrett Podell with CBS. Garrett, the 2025 Dallas Cowboys draft class is officially set. Day 3, a lot of moving parts for the Cowboys. I'll kind of name some of the names that the Cowboys picked. You had Jaden Blue, running back out of Texas, Shamar James, linebacker out of Florida. So many other interior offensive line pieces, a lot of defensive line pieces. What do you make of Day 3 here in the NFL draft?
I think Day 3 really emphasized something I asked Stephen Jones about, which is, did they go into this draft kind of anticipating a kind of trench draft, really doubling down and reinforcing the offensive line and the defensive line? And they said yes, because they know who they play in their division. They didn't say the name, but it was very clear they were talking about the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. They've kind of built their roster from domination up front on both sides of the line, offensive and defensive line. And that seems like something Dallas was trying to really mimic today. They went with multiple defensive tackles in 2 of their last 3 picks out of UCLA and out of Maryland. So you saw that there. And then also just wanted to be more physical, doubling up on running back today with Jaden Blue out of Texas and then also Phil Mafah out of Clemson. So I would say the Cowboys really went for sort of a meat and potatoes NFL draft. And, you know, that's the kind of image that new head coach Brian Schottenheimer has told us that's what we want to be. We want to be a physical team. We want to run the ball more because that was really missing last season in their 7-10 campaign. And probably if they run the ball a little bit better, that's a little less stress on Dak Prescott, who's coming off a season-ending hamstring injury.
Cowboys certainly addressing the needs in this draft. I got to tell you, who do you think, let's assume that every single one of these players do make the 53-man roster. Who do you think can not only be a starter in week 1, but a regular starter heading into this new campaign?
Well, the first-round pick in Tyler Booker, that's incredibly obvious. I mean, Brian Schottenheimer, Jerry Jones, they said at his press conference, this is an immediate starter. So we know for sure Tyler Booker, he'll be there at right guard. I think their second-round pick, Donovan Ezeraku, he's got a real chance to start. I mean, he's coming in. He was number 2 in the country in sacks last year, 16.5. And there's a vacancy there with DeMarcus Lawrence now in the Seattle Seahawks after leaving as a free agent. So I'd say that's a spot where he could compete probably with Sam Williams coming off an ACL tear and some of the other guys they have on this roster, Dante Fowler as well. So that could be an interesting competition. And then if Siobhan Revel is ready for the start of the season, they said he's going to start on PUP at the beginning of training camp, but that doesn't mean he's going to be on PUP to start week 1. If he can get cleared medically after his ACL tear 3 weeks into the college football season in the fall, maybe he is somebody who could start, because Trayvon Diggs, we don't know if he's going to be there. He's another guy, status up in the air. Jerry and Stephen Jones didn't really give us a definitive answer on his status going forward. So maybe that cornerback spot as well is up for grabs for Revel if he gets healthy. So some health question marks there. And then I guess you never really know at running back, right, with Jaden Blue and Phil Mafah. You signed the vets, Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, 2 guys who have been 1,000-yard or close to that caliber backs in the NFL. But the running back position in football is, you never know. There's training camp surprises every year. So maybe at running back, but I say for sure Tyler Booker and Donovan Ezeraku. I know it's chalk. Those are the first 2 picks of this class, but those would probably have the highest likelihood, and Revel certainly if he can be healthy.
I'm going to go not chalk here. You know, so one pick that really stuck out to me was Johnny Cornelius out of Oregon, kind of a versatile offensive lineman when you think about how he spent most of his career in college at right tackle. But he even admitted that in high school he played mostly at right guard. So the Cowboys have a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to where he's going to fit in the offensive line. I'm also looking at Jay Toya, who has a very, very good opportunity ahead of him because the Cowboys addressed a really, really big need, as you know, with that pick, stopping the run. That is going to be his MO there, and you know what? He's going to have a really good opportunity with that defensive line. Even with all the free agent draft acquisitions, getting a younger face, getting a guy who loves to just smash is going to be real big for the Cowboys.
I agree, Johnny, and I think Toya is a very interesting guy because slightly undersized for NFL defensive tackle standards in terms of height. He's 6'2", but massive. I think I saw he clocked in at the NFL Combine around 340 pounds, maybe 342. So that is an absolute space filler in the middle of this defense. And that was something that was talked about in the press conference you were just at. Matt Eberflus's defense really wants there to be this internal penetration from the middle of the defense. That's kind of where it operates best, north to south with the defensive tackles. And so I think when you have someone who's 340 pounds, if he can kind of refine some of his technique stuff, he could be real dangerous, especially in simply even applying pressure to 2023 first-round pick Mazi Smith, who by all accounts has been underwhelming given his draft status from a couple years ago.
If you were to give a letter grade to this draft class, what would it be, sir?
I would say B+, because I feel like the Cowboys did a great job reinforcing both of the lines, which I would agree with Jerry and Steven is incredibly important. I thought the Chavon Revel pick was a really good one, considering they have the inside knowledge of the surgeon who did it. The procedure, Dr. Dan Cooper, he doubles as Dallas's head physician, so they're very clued in on what Revel's rehab and recovery has been like. The reason it's not like an A- or an A, they didn't address wide receiver, and I don't know if they want to enter another season with Jalen Tolbert as the number 2 wide receiver, but I would say they did a really great job along the trenches and adding depth at the running back position, which was definitely an area of need as well.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what I wanted to end it on. You mentioned the one position that they did not pick was wide receiver. They had a few that were still on the board in multiple rounds in this draft class, decided to go elsewhere, decided to fill the needs, or also or kind of pick best available there. But do you really think that there is a number 2 receiver in this current Dallas Cowboys roster?
I think Kevontae Turpin is very fun. Head coach Brian Schottenheimer was asked about him. He's a great big play kind of player in the return game. He was the all-pro kick returner. As a receiver, he definitely could be used a little bit more. He had some explosive plays like his catch and runs on a slant against the Houston Texans on Monday Night Football for a touchdown. That was the fastest clocked speed any player ran in the regular season, according to Next Gen Stats. So he's a fun one to watch, but you know, he's smaller than me. So I don't know if he can be a consistent wide receiver too. Electrifying speed for sure. Jonathan Mingo, another guy they referenced, he was their 4th-round pick this year as they acquired him from the Carolina Panthers at the trade deadline for pick number 114 in this draft. But he's kind of one of the lowest dudes in the league in terms of average yards of separation per target in the NFL. So maybe they tap into something that hasn't been able to be pulled out of them in Carolina. But unless that happens, I feel like they need to make a trade or maybe sign a veteran. Amari Cooper, probably not going to happen, but I know fans would love to see it. So no, as of where the roster stands today, I don't see a reliable wide receiver 2 here in Dallas.
We are in for a very, very eventful preseason here in Frisco. Rookie minicamp is just moments away, set to start next month. Garrett, I appreciate the time, man.
Thanks for having me.
We'll send it back to you guys.